Hey everybody, and welcome back to Rathlin Island. It is morning of day 8, and we have finally got to the mowing. Figured we might as well see if we can't get some of this grass cut, because I'm hoping to get 3 cuts off of these fields this year. So in order to do that, we pretty much have to get started here in late spring. And then hopefully we'll be able to cut again in late summer. And then hopefully, well, maybe midsummer. And then hopefully we'll be able to cut once more in late autumn. We did some testing of this process kind of on Midtown. I was kind of thinking ahead to this video series. And I thought to myself, well, let's try it out on Midtown and see how many cuts we can get and what our bale output will be by cutting it before full growth, because typically I have waited until it's full growth to do the cutting, and it was definitely less than waiting to get a full cut. But if I can only get 2 full cuts off of a field versus 3 partial cuts, I think it turns out in favor of the 3 partial cuts. I think that's my general thought on that. So what we're going to do is we're going to mow up a few of these fields this morning, and then we're going to windrow them up. And you may see down there in the sheep yard, we've got our other tractor, and it's got a contraption on the back. It has a bale wrapper. So this first cut, at least for fields 26 and 24, are going to go towards silage bales. And then we'll see how many bales we get off of these 2 fields. And if we need more, then we'll mow some more fields and wrap them. If I feel that we've got enough silage bales off of these 2 fields, then we'll go and just mow the rest and collect it and put it down into BGA or the bunker, because we've got plenty of hay at this point. We really don't need any more hay bales. So I'm trying to think of what we really need at this moment, and well, we need silage for the cows that we now have, and we need to start making silage down at the BGA to keep it fed, to keep that money rolling in. So there we go. Go ahead and drive on down to field 24. Can't get that field done. Yeah, we've got the wrapper there, which I think, at least I thought the way it worked. Maybe it's got to be on or something. I thought that one kind of put up a HUD in an adjacent tractor and basically let you control the wrapping from like over here, like it has a remote. But to be honest, I have not used that thing yet, so it's gonna be kind of a trial by fire, if you will. Not always the best thing to do, but hey, that's what we're gonna do, right? Every time I come into this map, I fall in love with it more and more. Really a great looking map. It's a great playing map. I like how the roads just kind of flow around. So many maps have roads that just go straight. Have 90-degree turns. Have cross intersections. But no, we've got, we just wind around the countryside here. Wind around the hillside. Everything. Oh. Didn't want to turn it off. Just, let's come on in here. I think what we're going to do is we're going to kind of cut this in half. Okay. Oh, we're not really cutting in half, I guess. What we're going to do is we're just going to come out here and open up the field a little bit. Gotta be careful with MR. You can obviously mow a lot faster than without. So typically, you just put the hammer down and go as fast as you can. But with MR, if you hammer down, you're gonna be moving at a pretty good clip. So we're going to need to look at the my spreadsheet and figure out how much food 10 cows will eat. I'm thinking we may be able to bump that number up to 25 cows. We're just going to have to kind of see where everything goes. Pretty sure that this map has the stop milk sale built into it. Because we didn't get any money from our milk last night. So we should have got a little money from milk, but we didn't. So I think we're going to need to invest in a milk tanker. And then start transporting our milk. And if we do that, then we might as well take our milk down to the dairy where they make cheese and stuff. That way we can basically sell that to, I think it's to the grocery store. Let's just take a look real quick. Let's see here. Grain, yeah, milk. Dairy takes homogenized milk, and the supermarket takes cheese. So, look at our animals. We got 1,700 liters of milk already. So, like I said, I don't think it's going to sell milk automatically. We're going to need to pick up a milk tank at some point, and then start getting some milk production going on. I guess some cheese and such production. And of course, to do that, we're going to have to make regular runs across the ferry. Pretty much everything requires you to go across the ferry, other than the BGA, thankfully. BGA required us to go across the ferry. I don't know how many people would do any work down at the BGA. You just imagine carting trailer load of chaff or grass down to the BGA for compaction. Well, that would take forever to get that job done. That is certainly for sure. I think I'm going to do this. I think we're going to jump in here and just mow in cab for a little bit. It's quieter and everything. So guys, how are you enjoying the, are you all watching the multiplayer stuff that, that we're doing? How are you all enjoying that at all? I think, probably last time I did a video, it was probably pretty clear that, I had recorded it in advance, because I probably was talking about, Clover Creek. And starting up Clover Creek, but sadly, Clover Creek didn't work out so well. I don't really know what was going on with it, but it was like just like it wasn't multiplayer compatible. We'd be playing on the map for about an hour and a half, and then next thing you know, it just started throwing all kinds of Lua errors that related to the animated animals on the map, and then doing a Lua error related to the animal pedestrians, which I thought was odd. But that's basically the animated animals and the people pedestrians, the the people that walk around town and such. But Clover Creek doesn't have people pedestrians, which was kind of weird. And then we noticed that that we couldn't open gates. I couldn't open any of the doors on the barns, on the farms. So in multiplayer, but in single player, I could just fine. I could open them without any issue. So I don't know what was going on with that, but we moved over to Germantown. And I'm quite enjoying it. It's not a map that I would play single player, but then again, it seems like there are so many. There's lots of other multiplayer maps that that I wouldn't necessarily do in single player mode, but in multiplayer mode, it just has a whole different dynamic, and that different dynamic really works. So I'm having a fun time on Germantown. I think maybe a lot of what it has to do with is cooperation and the collaboration that that multiplayer really brings you. Can't really see over to that other mower. Let's do this for a little bit. Then I got involved in another multiplayer series on the Di La Italia or something map. I always have problems with the pronunciation of the map name, but that map has seemed to run into some weirdness in that some of the guys have fields that that haven't grown. They planted like wheat in the right time at the right temperatures, and the wheat came up to like 33% by mid-spring, and now the map's in early autumn and the wheat is still at like 33%. But other people have it's not wheat as a crop on the map, because other people have planted wheat and they've already harvested it. They probably planted it at the same time. So that's kind of strange also, that we'd have, you'd have a couple fields that just don't seem to grow and to produce. So that's pretty weird. So we're actually looking to move over to a different map on that one. So not been the best luck of maps as of late, which I'm glad that we got such a good map here in Rathlin Island to be playing with. But other than the concern about maybe not having enough time to get videos recorded, I'm not thinking about moving away from this map anytime soon. There are so many maps out there vying for folks' attention. And to think that we've got Farm Sim 19 coming in, I don't know what, maybe 7 months? It's hard to say. Some people are projecting, yes, an October release based on when 17 was released, but there's not been a real date set by Giants, and I expect we probably won't hear too much until the middle of summer. I think there's some game conventions that are going to go on in June, and that's probably when a lot of information is going to be coming out come June. So I think we've got enough gap between those two, the two cuts here, that we're just going to make, going to wipe out this area over here. That. And I'll come back with you once we are using the that cool windrower from the Coon Pack. I've yet to play with that. So we got our Merge Max. I think that's what this is called. Running, and figured out how to get it doing a kind of a middle merging thing. And well, we're figuring out how to drive it. I think it's a little, this tractor might be a little underpowered for it, just because it seems to have a lot of, seems to be having some issues pulling it, especially uphill. So, but I thought I would just throw everything to the middle. The other options were, of course, to throw it left or right. You could, I guess if you wanted, you could put six rows into one by merging 3 to the right, and then merging 3 to the left on top of the 3 that you threw to the right. But we don't need to pack it super full, because with MR, what we're going to find is that our baler speed is going to be somewhat subject to the amount of material we're bringing into it. So if we bring a giant windrow into the baler, then we're not going to be baling but like at 1 or 2 miles an hour at that rate. And are we really getting anything done? Then if we just bale 3 rows, for example, and at that point we could probably bale hopefully a quicker clip, and therefore be a little bit more productive. Let's make some straight passes. We are going to use round bales, and I know this map has hills, and I know that I'm probably setting myself up for utter disaster by doing that, but wanted to do round bales on this map. I just felt that that might be a bit more appropriate. So that's what we're going to give it a go. I would typically use the auto unload option, but we're not going to do that. We're going to unload bales manually, and basically what we're going to do is we're going to try to, when we get a baler full, we're going to try to drive it down to a fairly flat place in a field and unload it at that point. So, up this. See if we can't pick up this little remnant. That. This down here. Then we'll run over to our other field and get that raked up. See, our weather forecast just changed. Now we have rain in the forecast. Of course, we don't really know when we're going to have that rain. That's the forecast part. It's kind of the guesswork. Hopefully the rain won't come until tomorrow. That'll give us the rest of today to get these bales up off the ground and wrapped. So I do not know how long it's going to take to get these things wrapped. Plus I don't know how many bales we're going to get, so there's a lot of unknowns here. Say driving this Merge Max is a little bit different than what I'm used to. I guess I could get used to it. I don't plan on swapping out the I don't plan on swapping it out with anything, so we're gonna have to get used to it. Alright. Fold this thing up. Got pretty interesting animations. There we go. Head on over here to 24 and get it raked up, and then I'll be back with you once we are baling and we'll see how many bales we get and how well we can manage to not have bales roll all over the place. So we got our baler out, and here we are. And I have to say, even though we only pulled 3 windrows together, or three mower rows together, we're still baling at a pretty slow clip here, thanks to the ever-present MR, which is basically just governing the intake volume of the baler. The bigger the windrow, the slower that the baler will run. And you'll see also that we're getting 2,000 liter bales out of the baler, as opposed to the normal 4,000 liters, and that is again thanks to MR, which is reducing the volume of a grass bale to 2,000 liters. Basically, I think the reasoning is that the grass bale is going to be wet and heavy, and therefore, if it was 4,000 liters, it would probably be way too big and way too heavy for the mass of the baler, and also probably be to the point where it would probably be tipping forward just about any you know, all but the biggest tractors and such. So when we're doing our TMR mixing, just like when we had to buy our silage bales, when we're doing our TMR mixing, we're going to have to remember that we're going to need to use twice as many silage bales as we would normally use without MR, simply because the bales are half the volume. There. Also have I also put in the oops, wrong button. Oh, while I did that, let's just show you that. I've got this baler. I'm not really sure. I don't really remember where I got it from, but I can open up the sides. It's pretty cool. See some of the belts and stuff rolling around in there. But also, if you look at the F1 menu, I put in the mod where it changes the baler beep. That's over at the mod hub. Set the baler to beep at 70%, 80%, or 90%. I had it set at 90%, but I didn't even hear it beep until it was full. So I changed it down to 80%, which isn't too terrible bad. Seems to turn off at 90%. On these hills, I'm trying to be conscious of where I unload. Like I said, I think in a previous video, I would normally use the auto unload on a round baler to just kick them out whenever. You know, you still have to pause and wait for the thing to unload, but with this map and with the hills and with the rolling fields of grass, I really didn't want to have this thing unload at the wrong moment and risk having a bale just roll its way down into the sound. So using the good old manual method of unloading the round baler. That is manual. Definitely glad that I only mowed these 2 fields, because I think I'm going to have more than enough silage bales off of these 2 fields to care for our 10 cows. I did some math and it looks like we're going to need let's see here, let me pause real quick and I'll be right back and tell you how many bales we need. We did 25 cows. I did the math and now I forget what it was. We need 80, we're going to need 42, oops, wrong button again. We're going to need 42 bales if we do 25 cows. So I think we're probably going to be fairly well off, even if we do just these 2 fields with silage bales for 25 cows. You see here we got a smaller windrow and we're able to bale at a little quicker rate than we are at the other size of the windrow. With MR, it really doesn't pay much to get massive windrows. It's going to be baling at a super slow clip and probably getting annoyed with things. It may also be affected by moisture. So we may be able to bale, well, we're going to experiment, we're going to find out. We may be able to bale hay in the same size windrow at a faster speed. Something we're going to need to explore and discover. There we are. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to do a little quick speed up here, and we'll just quickly hammer out this field with the baler, and then we're going to grab the telehandler, Kloss, and get our wrapper over here and get to wrapping these bales and see how that works. Be right back. Alright, we got a little bit of a disoriented yard here at the moment, but let's see here. Pick this up, and we'll bring this over here into the field. Not really sure where. I guess we'll just put it right here. Pretty good spot. Down and. I don't know if we turn it on. Do we turn it on? I guess we just leave it there. Let's leave our tractor running. Although I don't know if we need to leave our tractor running because it does have an engine on it. Got yep, forks on that thing. Thought we'd use the cloths to bring the grass bales over because, well, for two reasons. One, we don't really need to worry about not puncturing the wrap because, well, there is no wrap. And two, I thought this would get around the field a little quicker. Alright, let's see how this thing works. Okay, well. Interesting. Oh, turn on wrapper. There we go. Turn our tractor off. Still is running. Okay. Get any exhaust effects out of this? Nope, I don't see any. Okay. Then unload. Unloads that direction. Alright. See if we can do that from in here. So you can see that we've already lost a little bit of volume off of our grass bales here. You have to be every time, huh? That is because of seasons. Seasons starts to destroy grass bales pretty much the instant they are made. And since we're running at an accelerated clock of 5x, it's been a couple hours, a couple game hours, since we made the grass bales, and as a result, what the range is, okay. As a result of that, we're going to be losing volume, so we can't really, or we shouldn't really go and bale that other field, and then come back here and start the wrapping process. Because the act of doing that, we would a fair bit more volume on our bales the longer they sit before wrapping. Now, as soon as we wrap them, they will maintain their volume at that point. Won't have a problem there. Working pretty slick. Saves you having to bring the wrapper around the field. Instead, you bring the bales to the wrapper. Obviously, set the wrapper where you feel that it's a nice level space for wrapping. We may want to move our tractor a little bit before we unload that one. Of course, if somebody was in a multiplayer scenario, then it's quite possible that they could stay on the tractor. We're just dragging it around because it's got a little leg. In a multiplayer scenario, somebody could sit on the tractor and or stand outside and manipulate the wrapper while somebody fed it. Somebody brought it bales, and then somebody could basically take the bales away at the same time. Be a pretty interesting situation. So you could probably have 3 or 4 people working on the field. One running the wrapper, one bringing in the bales, and one unloading or stacking the wrapped bales somewhere. Add to that the person actually baling, and get yourself a nice 4-man operation. I'm just going to go ahead and finish up this field and finish up the other field, and check you guys later. But before I go, I do want to encourage you guys to go check out some of the folks down in my description below. They all do really cool YouTube content on Farm Sim. Some are actually moving over to Twitch, so I think maybe, I don't know if I've got their Twitch address in there or not. Probably should put it in there. If anybody's interested in this McHale wrapper, it's over at the Mod Hub. It's in the Mod Hub. So, pick it up, play with it. So until next time, guys, happy farming.